From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open a cold beer and let's get after it. We've got the Mayday social distancing. Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Visit them and try out their new beer coming out, I think, yesterday from episode release, Silk Mill Oatmeal Stout on October 13th. And don't forget bingo every Thursday at 6 and yoga and beers on Saturdays. And little announcement.
People, I was about to say, stay tuned, right? Stay tuned.
It's in the works coming up. And later this month, we will be hosting a bingo night there at Mayday where you can win 2 tickets. There's 4 tickets in total, 2 games, but you can win 2 tickets.
I got dibs on being Vanna White, though, bro. So, just saying.
Today, we have got a bunch of news notes from around the league. We have got our playoff predictions and placements. Games of the week is back. We got Joke of the Week. Summer of Bond is on its way back. And much, much more. How are you this week, buddy?
Pretty good. Obviously I was pretty good anyway, but bro, it's always a good week. Just the following week when Bama loses to an unranked team. It's always a good week. And even better, when Jimbo Fisher had mentioned, they're going to beat them, which was obviously a laughable comment at the time. Shot. But everybody says that every week. But then the funniest part was Nick Saban's comment. He was like, oh my goodness, he said that? Is he talking about football? Which is a funny comment. Yeah. That's a funny comment.
Turns out he was.
Good weekend of football. I think, I don't know that we have any spot that we're going to talk about it, but I think I have reversed my decision. I do think Penn State's for real, man. They almost won that football game against Iowa and without their quarterback. So, but pretty good. Good weekend of college football. Good weekend of NFL football. I went 5-0 in all of my leagues, and then I'm 6-0 including my FanDuel league. So pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Great week, dude. So after recording last week, I went to an MGK concert at Ascend Amphitheater in Nashville.
That sucks. Hopefully it got better.
It was a great time. Even though we got rained on a little bit, that was a great concert. I'd say second best concert I've been to in a long time. Wow. He knows how to put on a show. It was a great time. There was a couple points where he stopped the show because this teenage girl had a sign. I guess she saw him at some music festival a couple months or so ago, and some dickheads ripped up her sign or wrote on her sign and messed up, just kind of, just bullying a little kid. Yeah. And so he saw a sign that said, happy to be here, so that because the assholes at the last one screwed up my sign, he stopped the show and brought her on stage.
This, honestly, I think you think this is sounding cool. This is sounding really R. Kelly-ish by MGK.
Well, he brought her up on the stage where, and he asked the parents, and the parents were like, yeah. And he let her sing a song, one of his songs with him on stage. And it was pretty cool. And then he brought his daughter came out, I think and sang a song with him. He ran out into the crowd, and you could tell, so he was saying, because his girlfriend's from Nashville, he's like, I love performing here, and I'm going to do some shit I've never done before. So have you been to Ascend Amphitheater before?
I have not, believe it or not.
So this was actually my first time there, but in the middle of the crowd, there's the AV box, where they do all the controls and stuff, and it's roof. Right. He ran out, and you could see the security guards like, the hell is this guy doing? He runs around, he jumps on top of that, and it's pouring rain, so he almost falls off. I've got a couple pictures of it.
See, that one I would have been interested in.
People are going crazy. Overall, it was a great time. He killed it. It got wild when he did Wild Boys, that song Wild Boys up on stage. People got crazy.
I'm going to be honest with you, Bobby. You could have named any song.
You probably.
Any song? Maybe if I heard it, but I have zero clue.
Yeah. Well,
my favorite MGK song is "Kill Shot" by Eminem. That's my favorite.
Now,
one.
I will say his rap game weak, and he had like 3 parts to his concert. The second part was a little bit rapping. I was like, all right, this ain't great, but his punk rock stuff, he kills it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But then let's see what else. I went to a Preds game, a preseason game. That was a fun time. Got a wee bit drunk, and shout out to my boy Juan, who I met there.
Juan.
Hopefully, we'll see him again on Thursday.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'd love to meet the guy.
Yeah,
that's the. That is the Spanish version of Glenn, right? Is that correct?
That's so I thought. But yeah, I'm excited for the week going ahead. I'm super excited tonight. As of recording tonight is puck drop, but that'll take us straight into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
John Gruden resigns from the Las Vegas Raiders after a cache of emails were released where he used homophobic, transphobic, and insulting language towards the commissioner. Email ranged from 2010 to 2018.
He wasn't even working. He wasn't even coaching then. Right?
I think some of the emails were after he was on board.
Well, sure, he's been there for 4 years.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in 2010, did they just pull this dude's Gmail? They're like,
well, he was working for Monday Night Football, so I think that's where it stems from.
But it wasn't NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, was he JG forever? And he was they're like, we got you, Jay.
Yeah.
No, it's well deserved. He quit. Sure, he quit, but he was going to get canned. Deserves it. I've been a proponent of John Gruden on this podcast. I've been a fan of what he's done as a coach. I liked his personality. He helped run one of the greatest Monday night crews that I've ever heard in my entire life. Hey man, I have zero problem turning on a dime on you, man. There's no place for it in the world,
Exactly, 100%.
So good. All of the original information that we had heard was, there's some questionable things in there, but it was definitely easily explainable in terms of maybe he's just being, a jerk.
Initially it was, well, he's a bit of an asshole. Okay.
Sure.
The rubber lip statement, and it was less racist and more, because that is a term for calling someone a liar. I think that it was, he was not smart enough that he shouldn't use that term when talking about a person of color.
Sure. But especially in your work email.
But it was, that is the biggest issue also. Well,
I don't know if it's the biggest. I don't know if it's the biggest issue.
I think the racism
Bob.
and the homophobia is the biggest issue.
I would feel like that would rank up there, but using your work email, it's on the list of things
that's what messed up Hillary was the emails.
That's lock him up. That's all I've got to say. So that sucks. That sucks for the Raiders.
And a little tip for everyone out there: if you're one of the people out there saying, "Well, who hasn't done something like that?" You should stop now.
I haven't.
You know what I haven't done? Is sent homophobic, transphobic, or racist emails on my work email, or in general. I've never sent emails like that. First off, who's emailing?
Who's emailing?
The paper trail of all paper trails for one.
Text your buddy, Snapchat it. Okay, then it's gone forever. Okay,
but still, don't do it. But
don't do it. Yeah. But if you're gonna do it, your work email is probably the last place that you should do it. It is very confusing. Who hasn't emailed Darcy in HR?
That was what was it, a couple years ago that was it was it a New York senator sent dick pics over his work email?
Anthony Weiner?
Yeah, Anthony Weiner. Yeah,
I think that was built into his name. That was a contractual obligation that
How
he
long
had
until
to
you
do.
think Urban Meyer is going to release his own emails and the cons are going to be like, we lost trust in you and we don't respect you, but you're getting this team to London.
Honestly, they're going to say, dude, we super appreciate that. That is
I guess we got to get out of
appreciative.
Jacksonville.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But honestly,
it's in Florida, so they're going to be
they would be pro. They'd be like, lifetime contracting, bud. Yeah. So realistically, what needs to come out from Urban Meyer's camp is him being
mandating vaccines, and
him being
Florida's going to turn on him real quick.
Him being a super fair and nice individual that doesn't believe in racism and homophobia. He's like, I'm against it. They're like, Get him out of here. Go to London if you like that kind of stuff, buddy.
Nick Suzuki signed $7.875 million a year contract for 8 years. Well deserved. I have been a huge proponent of Nick Suzuki since he's been in this league.
Me too. Dual positional eligibility.
Yeah, I didn't get him in any league this year. Just didn't work out.
I got him in a couple spots.
But I'm a big fan of him. Brian Boyle, one of my all-time favorite hockey players, signs with the Penguins. But I still love him. After not landing anywhere last season and making the USA team. So great to see Brian Boyle getting another shot. For anywhere from, all the work he's done in all the communities that he's been in for cancer, surviving cancer on his own. He really, I've got him.
He's anti-cancer, by the way, right?
Yeah, well,
he's not pro-cancer. I just want to make sure. You never know these days. I haven't seen dudes work email. Do you think when you get onto an NHL team that you get like a work email?
Honestly, I never thought about it, but yeah,
probably. You would imagine that.
Yeah.
You would imagine, like, obviously they probably just get your phone number unless you're Jason Kidd and you have an Android. You want to
know who's really worried about their work emails right now? Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, I bet he
called the IT guy. Was like, hey, we might need to. It's pretty bad.
He's like, yeah.
The guy's like, yeah, Tony, I've been clearing out your emails for years now.
He's like, yeah, can you?
I'm your own personal IT guy.
Can you erase that Linda email that I just sent? I accidentally sent it to Linda, but it was actually about Linda. Yeah. Can we divert that? You guys erased the, retraction thing. They're like, yeah, you sent it to the whole league.
Speaking of Tony D'Angelo, at the game, I chirped Tony D'Angelo for a good bit.
Yeah, heard you got some Brandon moves on it too. Like you G-rated chirped him.
Yeah,
isn't that right?
Yeah, because it's one of those things.
Best way to chirp.
It's one of those things when you're yelling, when you're really yelling and you're far away, you can't get complex with it. You have to be very simple.
Sure.
So just
your mom doesn't want you home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, finally, it wasn't one of those things where I know, like, he didn't stare at me, but it's one of those things when you're yelling his name and you see their head kind of pop to the side,
Oh, it's and like they can't help it.
Adam Fox is better than you in every single way.
And dude's a Norris Trophy winner. It was not like...
Yeah, but still, Tony D'Angelo's probably like, well, I could have won it if I wanted to.
Yeah, well, maybe he said that. But didn't your... somebody asked if you could beat him in a fight.
So somebody was like, yeah. One of the people was like, so would you fight Tony D'Angelo? And I was like, well, I would fight.
Squared up.
I was squared. Now I'm not going to fight him on skates because that's stupid. But if he,
you can't even skate, really.
Yeah, I would have to hold myself up with him.
Be like, please, like, come on, lock in here, bro.
But if he rolls up in a parking lot, listen, I've had to take on MTSU offensive linemen. And I'm sure I can, whether it's a win, whether I win.
I would really try to find a better thing to hype you up, right? They do play at MTSU, correct?
I've had to take on a UTK defensive lineman before.
That's probably where I'd go a little bit more.
But that was only a one-time thing. MTSU offensive lineman was a multiple case thing.
Wow,
got to the point where it's like, all right, guys,
come on, buddy.
Not because I'm attacking MTSU football players. Buddy. I worked at a bar. I don't want people thinking I'm just out there hunting linemen in the wild. But anyway, so yeah, someone's like, "Well, do you fight Tony?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll fight him. Whether or not I win or lose, I don't know. I'd get a couple punches in." Then my wife's like, she's like, "Well, what about the other Tony?" I'm like, "Well, depends on what Tony we're talking about. Tony the Tiger? No. And I try, I'm like, I don't know what other Tony. She's like, what about Tony Dungy? I'm like, first off, no. That's insane. I wouldn't fight him. B, he'd kick my ass.
Yeah.
Look at the dude.
You said it so eloquently. I was like, he's a little guy. And you were like, no, Old Man Street.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's true.
I will gladly fight in shape current professional athlete Tony D'Angelo before I fight retired bald Tony Dungy.
No problem.
Austin Matthews out first 3 games for the Leafs from wrist surgery. In the long run, if fantasy value doesn't really affect him, it's still Austin Matthews. He's still gonna probably win the Rocket Richard. But that is, I don't know what their first 3 games look like, but they're gonna have to step it up. Mark Giordano gets the captaincy and is the Kraken's first captain. The Krakens, say that 3 times real fast. The Krakens actually did something better than Vegas by naming a captain in an actual appropriate time. I think it took Vegas 2 seasons to name 1 captain. And speaking of captains, the Rangers, they got themselves 6 alternative captains. Not a captain, though.
That's weird. Yeah, I just never even really thought. I never even realized.
I think they're going to realize that
weren't required to have a captain.
Well, they're not required, but
obviously, this is.
But there is some. The way it works is that
You have to have like a designated captain to talk to the ref. Right?
Most of the time, the way it works in hockey, I believe, is just like the way it works in rugby, is that only certain people can talk to, well, in rugby they call him the sir, which I was always hear, but the ref, only certain people only certain people are allowed to talk to the ref. Now, at the end of the day, these are professional athletes. These are they're people chirp at the ref, but like if you actually, like, for example, if you always see Roman Yossi, whether or not he was the one in trouble, like he goes up to the ref and he kind of pleads the point.
Well, I knew the point of the captain, which is why I didn't understand why they were.
Which is why goalies usually are not allowed to get it, because otherwise they'd have to skate out to center ice, and it's a whole thing.
And then the other goalie thinks there's a fight going on. They skate out, dude, and it's we're 14 minutes into not even a fight. It's not even an actual fight. So,
but all right, let's jump over to outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, I think we mixed up when John Gruden got put into the John Gruden goose got put into the rotation there.
Wow, I think you mixed it up. I'm over here still trying to do my research, but yeah, I mean,
so the John Gruden
it deserves to be talked about in all sections because
John Gruden should have been put here, but maybe I'll fix that in post, maybe not. Speaking of coaches who should resign, you can tell it should have gone. The John Gruden should have gone right before this. Urban Meyer says he likes his team's offensive identity and that he wants 250, meaning 250 yards rushing, 250 yards passing per game, and he believes he'll get them. Something that no team has yet to do this season. No team has yet
to do this season. Actually, some guy did some stat checking on this. This has only ever happened like 28 times in the history of the NFL.
And he said he wants it to be done every week.
Every week, yeah. And it is, and there's only one team that has ever lost when they got this, and it was the Buffalo Bills team that only lost once they got into overtime. It took them they got this 250 in overtime.
Yeah. What year? When was that?
It was a good bit ago. It was
one of them OJ 2K years?
I was not familiar, but yeah, I mean, it is just such an absurd thing to say, but also completely an Urban Meyer thing to say. Yeah. I mean, just dude is a moron. And I don't know if people, if this is your first ever time listening to the Pucks Out podcast, you'll learn that me and Urban Meyer have an on-site type of deal. If I was in that Columbus, not that I would ever be found in a place called Urban Meyer's Pint House. Dude, come on. Are you kidding me? Naming your bar Urban Meyer's Pint House is, I mean.
You don't do the full name. You don't do full name.
I just like.
You can go last name. You can go first name.
You
don't do the full name.
Every day that I learn something new about Urban Meyer, first of all, it's a wasted day. Second of all, it just makes me have a distaste for him that much more. Like, I always say, like, all right, this is it. This is the last level of my hatred for Urban Meyer. I can't hate him any more than this. And then he does something else. And so, oh my goodness, Herb, I hope there is a forest fire in which your pub gets burnt down in.
There is
no casualties.
There is a website. Urban Meyer Facts for Kids. Who is sitting their kid down and be like, hey, you want to learn some facts about Urban Meyer?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's yes. There's probably plenty of great parents out there that was like, hey, this is who you don't want to be when you grow up.
There is 0 things on there. His birthday. His birthday is on there. Nothing else is on there.
And
this is crazy. In July of 2021.
You want to know one of the craziest facts on earth to me is if you're in a room of like 50 people, there's like a 50% chance that 2 people share a birthday. Isn't that crazy? It's like, sounds crazy, but then again, you're like, oh, there's only 365 days in the year. And so then when one person has a birthday, then the chances of other people having. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's, what is his birthday?
I moved away from the page.
Got it off. We don't even know. So I hate that guy. Good weekend of college football, though. Did you catch any?
I caught a little bit, not too much. I mean, I caught the end of the Alabama A&M game. We were watching Squid Games, and I got the alert that there was an upset alert, so I had the wife turn it off, and I went over to that, and then she fell asleep, and I woke her up just in time for the last field goal. Anyway, so before we move on, do want to quickly give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Standing Stone Farms Cheese Making. Be sure to check them out on social media. Check out their website.
She's making beef. What is this?
Standing Stone Farms Cheese
No,
Making.
I know what. I thought you were plugging a specific product from.
No, just check them out. Listen, if you're looking for Christmas gifts, you can get it early. Beat the rush. Get now. They are a great gift for everyone of all ages, for the whole family. Make sure to check them out.
I hope you didn't get like some secret money for this, because I didn't catch any of that dough.
Well, we got this mic. I got a bunch of this
We
equipment.
named our whole studio after her.
We named our home after it.
So no, I'm just kidding. She gets free plugs all the time. Anytime she wants.
So we're gonna move into our main topic today. We've got our playoff predictions. So let's start. I think you are just about wrapping up with yours.
Oh, I'm wrapping her up.
Yeah.
And I don't like mine at all, if we're being honest.
I'm weird about mine too, to be honest.
It's tough. Like once you set it out,
You're like, I talk so highly about this one, but like I also talk highly about this one.
I would have been much better off if you didn't try to throw in the remaining teams.
Yeah.
That makes it hard.
So I'm going to go ahead and admit right now, the Pacific, I said screw it. After I literally just put them in there in the order that I was reading them, because I was like, honestly, because I don't think we're betting. Now, if we want to bet on this, I'll change it around. But I was just kind of like, well, I'm tired. I just want to throw these in here.
Yeah, I didn't, you really should just not have done that. And then we would have been better off, but you've done it. So we're going to do it.
All right. So let's start out with the Atlantic.
See, I do
top three. What? What's up?
Nothing. I'm just putting a team that I don't hate this much at the last spot. Go ahead.
Let's start off with our Atlantic top three. I think we've got the same three. In the number one spot in the Atlantic, I've got Tampa Bay. I mean, they are electric.
They're all right.
They're just okay.
They're okay.
Yeah. Some people said they're decent.
It's a weak division.
Yeah. At number two, a team that is cursed and will have regular season success but not go far, Toronto Maple Leafs. Fun story. So before we got started, I was on Twitter and I saw that a bunch of analytics guys for the NHL, like they were putting out there like chances to make the playoff stuff and chances like how far they go to all the way to the Stanley Cup. And Toronto was in there. They had a very high chance to make the playoffs, and people wondering why their chance was so low to go further. He's like, listen. Well, he was like, listen, while we can't substantiate scientifically a curse, with Toronto, the hockey analytical community has established they are cursed, and that goes into the mathematics for them going past it. Like
the mindset of them. Yeah. Oh, see, okay.
At number three in the Atlantic, I've got Boston. So those are three teams from the Atlantic. The Metro,
I do promise you had these on there first, but I did not cheat. I just really went off of.
I wasn't anymore. I didn't even think you did that. Let's move over to the Metro top three to round out our Eastern Division non-wild cards. At the one spot in the Metro, I got the Islanders. You've got the Islanders as well. We've been pretty high on them all
super
preseason.
high on them, and like I said, I always put my money where my mouth is, and not that anybody would ever know, but if anybody's ever questioning whether I put that $5 that I talked about putting on the Islanders to win the cup, I'll send you receipts. I'll send you receipts. So I'm super high on the Islanders this year for sure.
I think I might do the same. Number two, I've got Carolina. I think you're right there with me as well.
Yep.
Now we separate a little bit.
Oh,
the Metro top three. I've got Washington Capitals.
Yeah, I have the New York Rangers. I've been high on them as well. I just think I don't know. I mean, Gallant is just a game changer for me. I already felt like this is a great team as is, and they could have probably with any coach been there as one of my wild card choices for the East, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I have them going as one of the Metro's top three. So,
and just to show it, but as well, right there with you. I don't know what odds you got in on the Islanders to win the Stanley Cup.
I got in at, I think, plus 1,700.
I got plus 1,500 for $10.
So they're dropping in. Yeah, I only put 5 on mine, but I do, I win like $90 if it happens. So,
but anyway, so you've got the Rangers, I've got the Capitals. Moving on to our Eastern Division, our Eastern Conference wild card. I mean, we're not too much different. I've got the Rangers making that wild card spot. Okay. You've got the Panthers, and I've got the Panthers making my number 2 spot. Now,
Yeah, and I have the Habnadians making my second spot. I do like what they've done. It's one of those things. It's like it's hard for me once I've picked my team, then it's hard for me to say, the Caps missed the playoffs. Now
it's also hard for me to say like the Panthers. Listen, I'm not big on the Florida Panthers.
Me
I
either.
think I do think they are a wild card team. Barely. And when I say like I've got Montreal right behind them in the fifth place in the Atlantic, I'm talking like a point, maybe 2 points are the difference between. And when I say that, like I'm not putting money on this because honestly, that is the difference between Jonathan Huberdeau getting injured or Nick Suzuki getting injured.
This is such an early pick. I mean, it's just one of those things that you got to have a feeling for it. And
but as much as we say, wrong. If either one of us calls this a bunch right, well, we're bragging about it.
I'm saying, we called it before the year, but when it happens and our team they're all completely wrong in the Atlantic. Yeah. In the Atlantic, it's Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo. We'll be like, it was early. It was early.
Yeah, hell has frozen over when that happens. But anyway, so the remaining Atlantic, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th for me. Obviously, those might change depending on the wild cards. I think we should be good for that. In fifth place, I've got Montreal. 6th place, I've got Detroit. 7th, I've got Ottawa. 8th, I've got Buffalo.
Okay, yeah, and my because I had two. Since I had 2 Atlantic teams going in, I only have 3 there. I do have Ottawa, Detroit, and Buffalo right there. So I think that we can pretty much agree that's 6, 7, and 8 in this division.
Yeah. And I didn't number it right in the Metro for my remaining Metro teams. It should be probably 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, that's how counting works.
Yeah, I was just anyway. In the 4th, I've got Penguins missing the playoffs. I got the Flyers missing. I got the Devils taking. I guess that would be 6th place, and then I've got Columbus taking last place in the Metro.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Well, it should be. For the Metro, it should be, since you have one team going, it should be 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you're right.
For the Metro?
Yeah,
it should be 4, 5, 6, 7 for the Atlantic. I guess maybe
I
think maybe in the
it's
in the
messing
West,
you up with like which teams you picked for that wild card.
Yeah,
because technically those teams would be
but we're all on the same page.
We're not really. Hey, we have never once claimed to be math guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I've claimed the opposite.
Yeah. I've said, I'm opposite of a math.
My wife has this thing calls it Bobby math, where I just, sometimes I just wing it.
You just do what you want. I mean, that's how math. This is America, right? Like that's how math is done.
Do not infringe upon my First Amendment right.
That's your First Amendment right to do math however you like, bro. Yeah. Don't even let the haters tell you, bro. And look, I don't even care what you say. You could probably beat up Tony the Tiger because guess what? That dude's animated, okay? And he's not even real. And it's probably just some nerd that drew him. Okay?
Yeah, not to mention whoever's scoring it, their math's wrong. I'm going to do my math on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want to sell yourself short, bro.
Yeah.
So,
let's move into the Central in the Western Conference. First place in the Central, I've got Colorado. You've got Colorado as well.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me that we both had Colorado winning that division. But yeah, and now this is where we kind of diverge a little bit in the West.
This was actually
this
was easily the hardest division I had to do.
Oh my goodness, it is so hard.
The parity in this division is, and honestly, you can see I have a question mark next to this team. Winnipeg Jets, maybe. I don't know. I could see Minnesota honestly in that spot as well. I don't know who you've got. You've got Minnesota.
Yeah, I have Minnesota in the spot. I mean, this literally could besides Colorado sitting at the top, it could literally be the opposite of what I'm going to be saying for the Central. So, so I have Minnesota in my second spot. Who you got in your third spot?
I've got Minnesota in my third spot. You've got Dallas.
I've got Dallas in my third spot. And I mean, I could see Winnipeg sliding up.
Honestly, I think Kevin Fiala is going to Kevin Fiala, outside of being a Preds fan and what he did for us at the Nashville, Kevin Fiala is
he didn't do a whole lot for us, and that is why he's now dominating up in Minnesota. So
his future is bright, and I think that him playing with Kaprizov, I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 or 5 years, we're looking at what now a 26-year-old Kevin Fiala in the race for our Hart Trophy. He is a very good. He is a very talented hockey player.
Oh, I think he's a super,
Very good
super talented hockey player.
Honestly, if you told me that
lots of All-Star games on the horizon.
If you told me that, well, I was going to say Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, the two of them, but literally those guys are going to be great, and those guys are going to be great together. And I really like what Kevin Fiala is doing now. It'd be easy for me to sit here and say, oh, Kirill Kaprizov, and brag about him. Everyone knows he's going to be good, and that's why I'm not talking about him because everyone knows about him. I'm talking more about the lesser-known guy that really should get. Kevin Fiala is very underrated.
I agree that he's underrated. I disagree that he'll ever be in heart.
I don't think he's going to win it. Don't think he's going to win one.
I don't even think he'll be in
heart
conversations. I just can't see that. Hey, all on him if he does. I didn't like the way that he got so upset about leaving Nashville. Yeah. I don't think he has the mindset to win it. Whereas a guy like Kaprizov, I think does potentially at some point have the mindset to win.
I could definitely see Kaprizov.
And it's one of those things that it's great for him. Sucks for as a fan of the Predators that he's doing so well there. I'm not wishing ill upon him, but we can't sit here and say that it wasn't a good trade at the time.
100%. I'm with you on that. It was a good trade. I've always said it was a good trade. The fact is, some players and some teams don't mesh.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah. And the fact is, he wasn't meshing with the system we had. He's meshing with that system.
Yeah, I think he's that type of guy that is just playing out of revenge. He's playing so well because he felt disrespected.
But if that's what gets his engines going, and that's what just kind of then he can keep that up, and that's what I'm interested in seeing this year is can he be that player who I think he can be?
I want great hockey, and so if whatever motivates you to play great hockey, if that's it, great.
Yeah, I only took him in one I only took him in one league, and I
got him in a couple actually. I think he was in fantasy especially. I don't know that he's as underrated in just as regular hockey.
Very underrated in fantasy.
Way underrated for a dual positional eligibility.
I snagged him in free agency after a draft in one league.
That started slow last year, but I think that his advantage is going to be in an 82 game season where he started to. I mean, he wasn't bad early on, but he started to heat up as the season went along. So I agree. Obviously, we're both high on them. You have them third. I have them second. But
now we're moving into the.
Well, I did not get to do my third team.
Sorry, I thought you did. Okay,
maybe I think you said it. But Dallas. I mean, they've got 100 goalies. I think that there may be a game, one game this season where they put 6 goalies on the ice at the same time. They're all going to be playing. It's going to be a 0-0 game.
Listen, I'm not high on Dallas this year. I
hope you're right.
For their fantasy value, I like players on Dallas fantasy value wise. I'm not big on them. My Western wild card in the number 1 spot, and I mean, I think it honestly. And this is just this is almost hopeful thinking.
This is a homerism.
No, not because of that, but because you know what I want to see is I want to see at the end of the season. I've got my wild card 1 and my wild card 2 is Nashville and Chicago. I think that what we're seeing is the quote unquote competitive rebuild in Nashville, which I think that they go into the season with about almost $10 million in cap space, which leaves them room to make some moves at the deadline. Chicago is looking dangerous for a rebuild team.
Yes.
I could see. Now, if you told me that at the end of the year it's Colorado, Chicago, Winnipeg, again, not really surprised. But I think it'll be Nashville and Chicago getting those 2 wildcard spots. What I will be surprised about, and I'm going to go ahead and put money on it, those wildcard spots are not going to the Pacific Division. No, I think those wildcard spots are locked in at the Central.
If there is a bet option for you to say that it'll be 5 Pacific or 5 Central teams going to the playoffs, I would put money on it right now, depending on the odds of it. If it's worth the money. I have Winnipeg and Chicago as well. I'm with you. Chicago, a guy like Taze, a guy like Kane. Those are guys that you don't mess around with. Bringing in a guy like Fleury, which is one of their downsides, was the goaltending.
Yeah.
I think that Chicago's there, and I had Chicago and Nashville, and then I was like, oh, you've left out Winnipeg, and I just really couldn't do it.
See, I was the same way. I couldn't leave out Winnipeg. I could leave out Dallas.
I could too, and honestly, I could leave out Dallas, but I think that they're going to be upset about how they finished off last year, and hey, man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that the Preds are in one of these playoff spots. But I just had to be realistic that it took a miracle stretch of hockey last year.
Now, I do want to say that
to get there.
watching some preseason games, the first thing I want to preempt this is when we're talking preseason hockey, throw out the score. The score doesn't matter. If you're a hockey fan, when you're watching preseason game, you watch the fundamentals, you watch the passing, you watch the goalie, the way the goalies look. I do want to say Use looked good this preseason.
Awesome.
David Rittich didn't look too strong.
I'm super glad.
The fundamentals in Nashville looked different than I've seen in the past several years. They were obviously, the game I watched live, I was a bit drunk, but the games I watched on TV looked good.
Let me ask you one question. I'm just going to ask one question, and it's going to solidify what I've decided to make my central lineup here. Is John Hines still the coach?
You might be shocked at the answer after this break. Yes, he is.
And I mean,
still, and that is to me the biggest.
That's the X
negative.
factor. That's the X factor. If he can not feel the need to throw his tweaks in there, then I think that this is a potential playoff team.
I hope that he's on a short leash in Nashville. I'm not saying he should be fired just yet, but he needs to be on a short leash.
Yeah,
after what he did in last year's playoffs.
Never liked the hire, but I'm always willing to give a guy a chance. I mean, the dude got us to the playoffs. So I mean, who am I to say?
Because here's the thing: it is easy for a lot of people out there, even us, to say we did it before. Oh, just bring in Gerard Gallant. Well, he might not want to come to Nashville.
Sure.
So. Maybe they worked, but if
stupid idiot, but I mean, whatever. Do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, he only wanted to go to New York.
Oh,
what does New York have?
Oh, New York doesn't even. I'll bet you New York doesn't even have the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I bet you New York doesn't even have pedal taverns.
Oh my goodness! Do you guys even have a hot tub that rolls around downtown Nashville? No, you don't have that. So I mean, that's fair. That's a fair assumption. That You guys aren't even called Music City. Oh, city never sleeps. Well, everybody needs sleep, buddy. Okay, so it's literally required for
the
life.
Big Apple. I hate vegetables.
Oh my goodness.
Or fruits. I don't know what an apple is.
Yeah,
because I don't care about apples.
It's a fruit. It's a fruit, and I mean,
like fruit.
All right, we better be careful because neither of us are John Gruden, and we do not want to be canceled. So let's not talk anything about fruits. Okay.
Ooh. All right. So our remaining central, I've got Dallas, St. Louis, and Arizona as my three central teams out.
I have Nashville, St. Louis, and Arizona. So
the other day, we're just a little bit off from each other.
Yeah. Not super far.
Yeah. The Western, let's go with
the Pacific.
Pacific
Literally
Division.
last one, Bobby. We should go with that.
The Pacific Division top three. Number one spot, I got the Vegas Golden Knights.
Surprisingly, I also have those. I also have them.
Did we match on all of our number ones? I think so.
Yeah, and so which means that no doubt that we're wrong on at least three of them.
Number two in the Pacific, I've got Edmonton Oilers. It's just that's a duo you can't stop.
I also have that as well.
And the number three, and I'm not even looking at yours, but I've got Los Angeles. I'm not sure if you.
I actually went Calgary.
Okay,
I've been.
I'm not too big on Calgary.
I know you're not, but I have.
I think honestly, I think the X factor there is Brady Tkachuk. I don't know if if he doesn't come back. I don't.
No, to me the X factor is Markstrom. Markstrom has to have a different.
Yeah,
Markstrom has to have.
I forget because I've got him in a couple leagues where like they count saves so high that I'm like, oh, Markstrom's great. I'm like, well. He gets so many
blasted.
Yeah, I mean he's got like 40 saves a game. I mean he let in 10 goals, but
I think Rittich being gone is helpful to him. There's not that nagging lurking over the shoulder. I mean Markstrom, he got a big contract from Calgary, and I thought he was worth it. He played that way that it was a worthwhile contract. I think that's the X factor. Now, not to put down Brady Tkachuk. That's obviously going to be. It's Matthew. Matthew is the Calgary. Brady is Ottawa.
Okay,
I'm fairly certain. Please fact check me and
maybe
you.
I think you're right. Let me double check.
But it is
Brady Tkachuk is Ottawa. Well, now they show Well, when there's twins, you don't show a picture of both of them wearing their separate jerseys because I don't know now.
Yeah.
Then when you type in Brady Chuck, it shows a picture.
Everybody knows what that one has a mole.
So, yeah, no, I was wrong. Brady Chuck is in Ottawa, and I'm not sure if he's coming back, or is it Matthew Chuck who might not be coming back? Now I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I've confused myself.
They look really similar. So,
okay, yeah, Brady Chuck on the Senators are no closer to a deal. So, yes, Matthew Chuck will be back.
Yeah, I mean,
well, in my head, I'm higher on Brady than I am on Matthew Chuck. But yeah, Brady might not be coming back.
I'm higher on on Calgary as a whole. I think they have a lot more to offer. But I mean, I'm not down on the Kings. I'm actually pretty high on the Kings. But I just think that I'm in my version of high on the Kings means they're not going to be as bad as they were last year.
Yeah, I got to be honest. This is because you guys talked it into my head in fantasy, and I did watch a couple games now with my ESPN Plus. I was able to watch a couple things. Not a plug. I also have NBC Sports. It could be. Didn't you guys?
Oh, I guess they didn't lose. I was going to say, didn't you guys just lose a Monday night guy? No, they did not.
They lost the coach, but not them. Yeah, but we will fill in for Booger McFarland any day of the week, and I promise you, viewership will go up.
Well, I mean, do people watch to just make fun of what he says, though?
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway.
I can't remember where I was going with that, but so
you're high on the Kings.
Yeah, I'm high on the Kings. I'm high on Cal Peterson. I think Cal Peterson is going to come in, take that starting job, and I think he is going to be very, very good.
Yeah, I don't know about very, very good. But I do have
relative to what we usually
to being poor.
Yeah, relative to the Kings, I think that he's going to continue to get better. And honestly, I'm always up on Anze Kopitar.
What's your remaining Pacific?
I've got the that's yours. I was like, the Kings. I've got Seattle in fourth, and honestly, I was debating putting Seattle where the Kings are, but I held my ground. Seattle there in fourth. Calgary in fifth, Vancouver in sixth, San Jose in seventh, and Anaheim in last place.
Well, we do have the same 7 and 8, but for my 4 through 6, I have Kings, Vancouver, and Seattle. I think Vancouver could be a good start to the season. I think that I could flip-flop Calgary and Vancouver, if we're being honest. I mean, it just... Vancouver could have been great last year. I think they've got the potential pieces, but I think they're so young. They gotta get rid of this injury bug. But I just think that in a couple of years we'll be doing a flip flop of where the Pacific is the strong contender, and then the Central is lower. But we could be both of us could be absolutely wrong on a lot of these. But I feel like I like both of our options. Like you sold me on some of yours that I'm not so sure about. I think it'll be interesting to. I think the episode name, we should definitely tag this as preseason predictions or something, so we can go back to it and kind of see how close we actually were, because that's tough going 1 through 8 on all.
When we've seen no regular season,
zero hockey, zero real hockey we've actually seen. So,
time to move into games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
Oh. I'm excited. We are getting out of here. I'm hitting the road, but I'm going to listen to the game online on the radio. Excited to hear what ESPN has to bring to us. But we got our games of the week from the 14th to the 20th. I'm going to start us off. Why don't you start us off? You got the first game, actually.
Yeah, I got the first game of the week. I got Pens and Panthers. I would like to see how I'm faring with my bet that the Penguins are not going to make the playoffs, and that's actual money on that bet, not just in today's episode. I got the Panthers winning. I am not high on the Penguins. They're down. There's a couple of guys on their team that are considered pretty good. Malkin and Crosby, if you've ever heard of those guys. They're pretty good.
Ooh.
They're not going to be
Sleepers.
playing. They're sleeper guys. They're not going to be playing early on this season. I'm not super high on the Panthers. I do have them going to the playoffs. I don't have them going far within the playoffs, but I have them winning.
Don't talk about playoffs.
That's true, Jim Mora. Jim, I'm so sorry. That is true. But that's Thursday, October 14th, the day of release at 6 p.m. And then you have the next game.
Yeah, we're going to be at this game, and I'm throwing this out there. First off, Seattle versus Nashville, Thursday the 14th, 7 p.m. We're going to be there. If you see us, and if you're a listener to the show, come up, say hi, take a picture with us. You can win a prize.
I was not even aware of that.
Wasn't? Yeah, I just thought of it on the spot. Maybe like a $15 a little Visa, gift
something
card,
like that.
A little something, just
a little something to wet the whistle.
Yeah. But I've got Seattle versus Nashville. I've got Nashville taking this. I think Seattle's going to be decent. I think Nashville's going to be okay, but Nashville's good. Listen, this is Nashville's home opener. They gotta win. This is big for Nashville. They got to look good against this team, and I think Nashville takes it. And honestly, I think the year Philip Forsberg begins.
I hope so.
I think it begins.
I hope I'm so
night.
wrong. I hope I'm so wrong. I hope we do fantastic. That's my team.
I am trying to speak it into existence.
Speak it. Speak it.
He looked good on that. He looked good against Carolina.
Awesome. I'm super glad to hear it because I'm jazzed about being at that game with you, bud. I got the next game, Blackhawks and Devils. The Devils, I have obviously low. I have them at 8th in their division. They could absolutely not be there. They could be fighting for a playoff spot if I'm completely off the mark. But again, we have been high on the Blackhawks as much as we dislike saying it. If we're going to be truthful, I have the Blackhawks winning that Friday the 15th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Next, I got Tampa versus the Washington Capitals on Saturday at 6 p.m. Technically, you should have gone before, but it is what it is. I've got Tampa. I've got Tampa winning that one. We should just go one by one. Since we've got 5, no point in looking at the time. So, what's your third game of the week?
Yeah, I have the Islanders and again the Panthers. I'm mostly because this was the first Islanders game I rolled up on.
Really hoping Panthers have a strong start to the season.
Well, I've actually got the Islanders that I'm picking for this game. Saturday, October 16th, 5 p.m. Look, man, I picked this game because it was literally the first Islanders game that I rolled up on. And, I'm big on them. I think that they're going to be a fun team to watch. So
I'm taking it to the Great White North. I've got Calgary versus Edmonton, and I've got Edmonton winning that. In fact, I think they're going to win it easily. Saturday, that's at Saturday at 9 p.m.
I would like to say I think Calgary's going to win it. Edmonton's notorious for dropping those games that they should win, right? So I'm going to go Calgary on that, even though it doesn't matter overall. I just think they're going to win it. Then I have the Rangers playing the Habnadians, a couple of teams that are going to be battling for one of those spots in the playoffs. October 16th at 6.
That is a good game.
Got the Rangers winning.
I wanted to take that game, but obviously I write it first, so I didn't want to take all the marquee games.
Yeah, I feel like because you got yours first, you went really weak on the game choices.
And I liked the first two, and then I liked the first 3, but then I tried to give you some. So
you gave me plenty. I literally got most of the games I wanted.
From now on, we should start picking them together right before the show because sometimes I
can. You can pick. The thing is, this is. Ultimately what it is for us is we want obviously great hockey to be shown for the fans that are listening, but really it's between you and I it's just a battle. We're just trying to make sure
you have to measure you don't always we want to pick stuff that's good for you, but we also we don't want to get stuck picking I could come and pick a bunch of Detroit games and nobody wants that. So it's a good mixture.
No, we do try. I feel like we do well, not just picking up.
I've got
crap
Seattle
game.
Versus the Flyers, and I've got Seattle winning this, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's their first win of their season. Monday the 18th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Not a bad choice. Double Seattle game though. Double Seattle. I doubled up on the Panthers. You doubled up on the Seattle.
I want to watch a lot of Seattle because those jerseys and those colors are dope.
Those are pretty sick. And then for my final game, I had the Lightning playing the Caps. I do have the Lightning winning. This is, again, Saturday, October 16th at 6 p.m. I did a rare thing. Normally I pick
Doubled
a game.
up.
Well, I tripled up here on Saturday, and I normally don't do that. I try not to pick on the same day, but
Better
it's
go
early
that split
season.
screen, people.
It's early season.
Get yourself to a sports bar, watch it.
Get
yourself over to Mayday Brewery and watch the games.
Go to Mayday Brewery, watch some games there, or get a second.
Hope they got the games available there.
They made. I mean, what's ESPN probably? I don't know if these games particularly are on ESPN, but there's going to be plenty of hockey played. I have the Lightning winning that. I am interested to watch some of the Caps games because I am obviously down on them a bit. So it looks like, I didn't even notice that we have. We both picked this game. I'm so sorry. I was not. Well, I mean, you picked it first.
Which game?
The Lightning playing the Capitals on Saturday the 16th. So, So since you picked it first and I'm a dummy and we don't normally do that, guess we got the Cap. I got the Caps winning then, baby. Let's do it.
More than likely that'll end up working for you.
I know. Yeah.
It's usually how it works.
Think that the Lightning are going to win it, but because I've had to switch, I'm going to take the Caps, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Caps win this.
Oh, that was purely for you, the fans. My last game, I've got the Islanders versus Chicago on Tuesday, day of recording.
Love it.
I got the Islanders winning.
This is the one game that you had, obviously, besides the one that I picked. This was it.
I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I think that is easily honestly the best game of the week, in my opinion.
Stock it up. I don't know what you got going on next week, but we can stay here and watch it if you want, bro.
Yeah, I think I will.
If it's on something.
I'm sure it is. This early in the season. I've got ESPN Plus. I'm sure we can find it. All right. Time for some questions from the internet. You got it for us this week, buddy. What is it?
I got it. I feel like this one's an easy one, just because of, our stance on things. If you could go to the Super Bowl, but you had to stand with your back to the field and wear headphones, would you still go?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
what?
You get to tell people you were at the Super Bowl.
Not to mention, I'm assuming it doesn't say you have to be in the seat. You can be out in the concourse and watch it on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's just assume for the factor is that you just got to listen to the audio. But I mean, how cool
in my head, I'm listening to some music or something. If I'm listening to the audio of the game, yeah, sure. That's even easier.
Yeah,
for me.
I'm thinking you get to listen to the audio of the game.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not even.
And then you get to say, I went to a Super Bowl. Yeah. That's super dope. I was like, oh, that's an easy one. We got a stacked show to.
I think in 2 years it's in New Orleans, and I really want to go so bad.
Yeah, I don't want to pay. I mean, we should just go, but probably not get.
I don't know,
tickets
man.
To the
just
game.
Get the cheapest tickets we can find.
Tickets you can find. You know how much Super Bowl tickets are, bro?
Like $2,500. I don't know.
Like really pricey. I mean, still $2,500. I mean, that's still pretty. I'm not paying. I'll just go to Bourbon Street, baby. Let's go.
I'm cool with that too.
Let's go. You're like, oh, it's not even a Super Bowl. We're just going to Bourbon Street
next week, baby.
And then, all right, here we go. 2 buttons. You can only press one. A, you instantly get $1 million.
A, I'm kidding. What is it? B?
I mean, go for it. B, you get a 50-50 chance of getting $100 million.
The first one was 1 million.
1 million in hand.
$1 million. Anyone who's smart can. The amount you can do with $1 million. Now, I'm assuming untaxed. If it's just straight up $1 million,
you just got $1 million in your account.
Yeah,
taxes.
Yeah, the 50-50 is it's too high. Like going on with nothing. Like $1 million is $1 million. You can do so.
But see, I already currently don't have $1 million. I can't. I mean, obviously, $1 million. I'm not saying it wouldn't change my life, but $100 million.
Yeah, that sure. They're both life changing. I'm going with the sure thing.
I'm going B. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I'm going chance to get $100 million. And then, hey, if anybody ever offers me this option and I choose B and I win $100 million, Bob, we're going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, bro. We're going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. See, like $1 million, I mean, I guess you could still go to the Super Bowl, but that's like a hefty price.
Well, I would still go to the Super Bowl only because you know what $1 million does? $1 million. First off, that's my retirement account. That right there, that frees up so much money that's not going into my Roth. That right then and there, I get a huge raise just from that. That's I mean, so I'm like, all right, well, I can afford, because I'm not putting money in my retirement account.
Right.
And so that $1 million, and obviously I wouldn't put it all in my Roth, but
well, you literally legally cannot. So, I mean, you can only put $60K a year.
But like, I'm opening other accounts. Yeah, no, $1 million, you can, if you're smart with your money, you can do a lot with $1 million.
I mean, but I mean, at the point of $1 million is like, we're still pretty young. Like, we would probably still have to at some point work again.
I can't help but think that, like, if I'm actually if you put me in that situation, I can't help but think that I might be ballsy, and like my adrenaline says, fucking, I'm doing it and going B. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I know me. I've known me for a good bit of time.
You can't, I mean,
that my adrenaline's pumping. And it's even better if, like, me and my spouse get to do it, because I know then what we each do well.
Well, I mean, in that case, you're always guaranteed $1 million. I'm like, no, bro. Like, you guys decide as a team. You got married and you're a team now. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, $1 million.
I'm quickly changing my answer only because
$1 million is a lot of money.
There is the smart decision, which is take the sure thing, get it over with, but also
but
$100 million.
I'm a gambler, bro.
50-50, and 50-50 odds are better than most bets you'll find out there.
No doubt. This is like a roulette bet. Like, you get to walk up and you get to say red or black, and then win $100 million. Now, the problem with that is if you pick wrong, you'll hate yourself the rest of your life. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to.
Unless we both go with it, and then we just tell each other, going like, listen, we're both going to pick this. And we, at the end of the day, no matter what, we just have to give each other, if one of us wins and the other one doesn't, you give the other one $1 million out of my 100.
We'll both pick B, and we both have $50 million.
Or we both have nothing.
Or $200 million.
Yeah. Or we both have nothing.
Well, we'll just go red and black. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
we'll either we both have 50 mil, or we both have 100 mil, or 0 mil.
Well, if one of us, then we would both. I mean, if we decided like that, then one one loses and one wins. One of us we would both have $500,000, or we would both have two. I don't know.
Oh, you're saying you choose to take the mil, and then I get to bet.
If we decide as a team, one takes red and we just split whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be against the rules. Like, we don't get to have $500,000 with the chance of 100 mil or 50 mil, I guess. So,
all right. And that kind of leads right in. I was going to bring up Squid Games, but that leads right into what are we binging? The wife and I just got done watching Squid Games. Good show.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably not as to me, it was.
Are we going spoilers on this or not?
Let's go no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Essentially, It's a game where people.
Even that's a little spoilery if you haven't seen it yet. Like, you don't. So
literally is in the title.
Okay,
it's a game.
I didn't know that. Well, no. Well, I didn't want us to go into the next part about what you do in the game and stuff like that.
Well, it says it in the description.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Yeah, it says that it's a chance to win money or
okay,
whatever. But my favorite part is or my favorite thing that I saw about it was like there's this TikTok of this guy that was like an American that joins the Squid Game, and it because the currency difference.
Yeah, it's like $3 million.
He's like, yeah, I mean, and he's like, so when I got to Korea, I hit a guy on a moped and I owed him 4 million won or 1.5 million won. And then it's like him finding out like how much that is in US currency. He's like, hey, I just found out that's like $1,000. It's like $1,000. And it turns out that I have that. Yeah. So that's but it was good. I liked it. I thought that it was. How did you watch it? I mean, some people are hating on it.
It was.
I watched it with the.
That was a contentious dispute my wife and I had. I did not like the dub and the subtitles at the same time. It was.
I liked them both.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And so I told us, like, listen, if we got to pick one or the other, I want to go Korean with English sub. She was like, well, I want.
Nah.
She was like, I want
That's
dub.
The wrong choice.
She said, I want dub and sub because the problem is my
dub and sub is the right
problem
answer.
is like, and I get that my ADD could not. I was getting so torqued when the dub and the subs were a little bit different.
You can't even read though is the thing. Like, what does it matter to you?
But no, my ADD was causing me so much issues. Like when I hear them say something, I'm reading. I'm like, well, that's just I hate that. So I was calling it out every time. She's like, I get it. I know it's different. Please stop calling it out. I'm like, well, could be watching. Yeah. I'm cool with just reading this whole thing.
Well, you can't. Though,
or just the dub. Yeah. We got to pick one. But the dub and the sub
I hear
together.
You there.
And now I ended up quickly losing that conversation, and we watched it with both. But yeah, it was a good show. I think it's a little overhyped. It's not, everyone's saying it's the greatest thing to ever exist.
Yeah, it was hyped up kind of like the Tiger King was, and because of the hypeness of the Tiger King, I never watched that. Yeah. So like I actually got into it before I even knew that it was like super hyped. I liked it. I thought it was cool. Yeah. But also, you didn't have this on there. Anything else on there? I've been watching the new season of Bosch, bro.
Yeah, I have not.
Get up in that. That's what's up. I mean, it's awesome. But then for my drink binge, don't at me or whatever. I have no idea what's in it, but mango peach shot, and it was delicious. You'll hate it because you hate mango, but it was or was it the mango peach shot or was it a spicy mango shot? I don't really remember. I know you hate mango. Mango was a crucial aspect of it. So I think it was the spicy mango peach shot. So that was super good at D's Country Cocktail Lounge, which is a little bar in my area. Old Sass came into town, so we went out and got a little drunk. So.
But, all right, Tom, let's move on to what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
So, in our Dynasty League, I am what you would call in the middle of needing to rebuild. So I immediately, you and I made
I call you the Jets.
You and I make a nice, pretty, I would like to think it's a decent trade for both teams, come out on top.
Yeah.
Immediately I make a joke how I'm having a fire sale, and man, out of the woodwork, people just making shitty offers here. And a good friend of the show, good buddy of mine, good buddy of ours, Nick Sobiowski, buddy, got to come. Sobrowski. You got to come.
Broski. You're garbage at trade.
You got to come better. Don't come at me for Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, and Ryan Tannehill, and I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I'm losing with those guys. But don't come at me with some dynasty picks in the second and third round. Better come with that Jamar Chase, bro.
Better come heavy or don't come at all.
Yeah.
This is like an episode of this. This is like the episode 1 of The Sopranos. Like, next time you come at me, come heavy or don't come at all.
And
okay?
Will, you need to come much better. You're coming.
Will, you got to come heavier, bro.
Yeah,
you got to come heavier. And
I'm willing to talk. I'll talk shop, and everyone's up for sale, but you got to come at the right price. And especially when I tell you that Tyreek Hill's my marquee player, I need a lot to get rid of him because I can build my team around him for years to come.
Yeah. Me and Jackson, my brother, we finally, everybody has been coming at me for Mac Jones for a while now. We finally settled on something. A few of you, if you do listen to the show, you've noticed you've tried to trade me for Mac Jones, and you'll send me an offer which I consider to be inadequate, and I'll send you a equally inadequate trade back, and then the conversation's over. I told Jackson he'd been pumping hard trying to get Mac Jones, and he's like, well, what do you want for him? It's like one of those things that like I don't really want to trade him, but trading him is like the Supreme Court decision about child pornography. Like I don't know a good trade offer, but I know it when I see it. Okay. So so I mean that was kind of where it was. We kind of landed in the same spot. I thought
there was a rule on pornography, not child pornography.
I think it's child porn.
Okay, I thought child porn was not just like I thought they had like pretty legit rules on it. Not you just know it when you see it. Like it's pretty legit. Like if
no. I mean there is like see if you like see like little girls in like skimpy outfits and stuff. Like that's child porn. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean porn is like girls wants to be in bikinis. That's not porn, right? I mean you're a legal adult. You can be in a bikini, but like you got some child. Let's not really get into the this isn't. This isn't child.
All right, guys.
R. Kelly isn't here. R. Kelly isn't here trying to explain it to us. So,
but all right, guys, be on the lookout for the fantasy football show. We are having some
fantasy hockey show.
be on the lookout for the Fantasy Hockey Show. We've got some scheduling changes coming up, so we're trying to find a good day to release that. But stay tuned. And don't forget to check out our social media, Twitter and Instagram, to enter in for some free tickets.
Free tickets to the October 21st Rangers
I don't know,
game.
no matter what anyone says, it's not November.
It's not. Well, I mean, there may be a game in November, but it's not.
Not that one.
Not at Bridgestone, though.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.